everybody. Welcome to Brownstone's Best Business Review. I'm Paulette, and as you can see, I'm on the road, but that doesn't stop anything here. We've got to keep the party rolling for this month of February, and we're so excited to talk to an individual that everybody in their mama needs to know. We are honored to have in the building. Are you guys ready for this? I don't think you are. One Freddie Taylor. He's a dynamic entrepreneur, speaker, passionate history enthusiast, and dedicated philanthropist who has made a significant impact in the world of Black history education. He's the founder and CEO of Urban Intellectuals. Freddie has been on a mission to rewrite the narrative of Black culture and history that is often overlooked or misrepresented in mainstream education. And so thanks to Freddie's visionary leadership, Urban Intellectuals has sold over 400,000 Black history flashcards and has been featured in major media outlets such as Time, Essence, HuffPost, CBS Chicago, Good Morning Washington, Milwaukee PBS, and ABC News Live, and now officially Brownstone Worldwide. In 2018 and 19, Urban Intellectuals collaborated with JetBlue to feature the flashcards in the JFK, New York, and Newark, New Jersey airports during Black History Month, further amplifying the message of Black history education. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to bring to the Brownstone Freddie Taylor of Urban Intellectuals. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing today? Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm so excited. Listen, let me tell you why. Because I have your flashcards. Because I've bought them and given them to my family members.
Awesome.
And because it is so impactful, I knew that you and I had to sit down and have a conversation because you are a busy man and you are on a mission. And this mission is about providing knowledge and information to the masses, not just Black folks, about who we are. So let's talk about that. What fueled the passion that you have for what you're doing?
Woo! It's a loaded question, right? Today I'll go with no, seriously. It really, I love to say that all of this started about 100 years ago. And that sounds kind of crazy because I got this gray in my beard, but I'm not quite 100 years old. But my father is, right? My father is actually 95 years old. We call him by his age. He's recently graduated to 95. So Mr. 95, was born in 1929. And all of this really started with him. Not that he started the company or the mission or anything, but his birth really sparked the interest in Black history with me, right? I wasn't born until the 70s. But his understanding, his appreciation for Black history and culture, he really put that in me. And that I grew up with that, and just understanding our history and knowing how important it is to our future is really what kind of drives us. So I love to say that the spark really came from my dad. And you know, I travel with him. That's my man. Literally one of my favorite people on the planet, right? I love that man. But it really started with him, his interest in Black history, and instilling that with me, and understanding how powerful of a tool that it is for inspiration, motivation, and really changing the world. That's what we believe here at Urban Intellectuals. So I got to go with him.
Okay. And so when you had that spark, and growing up as a 70s kid, things were a little different for us in terms of education and how we learned about Black history. But when we're talking about educating the masses now about Black history, and what you are doing with Urban Intellectuals, what made you decide to put it on flashcards, brother?
Yeah, that's an interesting it's an interesting story, because that's the pushback I get a lot of times. Like, why flashcards? Like, it's such a low, no tech placement where everyone's just into these apps in our phones and all of that. But I believe that that's what made it popular. It's the fact that it's a throwback, that it's something different. And most parents are tired of their children and grandchildren on these devices. So they're yearning for ways to get off of it. Not that it's just for children, right? Because everybody can learn from this. But the inspiration from it really came from grad school, right? So I have a master's in business administration, and while I was matriculating through school, back way back, right, way back, I used to study with flashcards, and this is how I started to absorb the information, because grad school is different from undergrad. I mean, there's a lot of information. I didn't use flashcards in undergrad, which is interesting. But at grad school, I needed an additional study aid. And when it came to creating a product, all I could come up with in my mind was flashcards, right? Like, you got to put this on flashcards. And then I was like, I went through what everybody kind of hit me with was, ain't nobody gonna pick up no flashcards.
Right.
But I remember how effective the learning was with flashcards for grad school, getting my MBA. And I just thought it would be a great way. And turns out people really would receive the medium of the information. So it turned out to be
absolutely. And what I love about them is, like you said, I love the fact that when I pick one up, first of all, I ain't gonna lie, I sometimes think I'm playing spades and like I mix them up first. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta do it now.
Yeah, you gotta do it now. You know what I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna play this. So I'm playing with them with my granddaughter. That part.
Yeah, we can definitely shuffle them, right?
Yeah, so I shuffle them and then we lay them out with and it's like a memory game. Like, who can you remember? So we lay out like 10 face down with just the picture, and then they have to remember what they read and go back through. And that's how we play it. And it's like every day I'm picking up one at least. They're on my desk. So I'm not gonna lie. When I bought all of your cards that you had at Target, I bought them.
I love it.
And I put them on my desk, and that's where they laid until they disappeared in my house because my granddaughter was over. But here's the question that I have for you in terms of business and about urban intellectuals. When you decided to do the flashcards, because first of all, it's your baby, it's your business, and you decided to do the flashcards, what was that final moment that made you realize this is a hit for you and that you had to continue with that? And what was the first box set of cards that you had?
Okay, so I got to take you way back because I'll try to be quick with this. So okay. I got interested in making money on the internet because I owned a real estate appraisal business back in 2002, from 2002 to 2009. And I used to spend a lot of time out of the house, right? Because you got to go measure and do all of this work for appraising. So I was on the road here in the Chicagoland area a lot, and traffic is terrible, and I hate it. I literally hated it, right? Like, I hate being outside. I got to be honest with y'all. I'm a homebody. My office. I'm in my house now. I'm in my office, in the house. But I started having that dream of making money online around 2004. And I was like, man, if I could just make money at home, this would be a great thing, right? So anyway, fast forward to 2010. There's some interesting stories in there, but 2010, this woman that I knew, kind of like the mastermind, right? It was like a pre-mastermind thing. Said, Freddie, I see you got some traction around urban intellectuals. You should introduce a product. You should sell them something physically. Because I'm just online, being inquisitive like I am, asking questions, agitating folks' minds and their complacency. Agitating, right? Intellectual agitation is what I like to call it. And doing my thing, right? Building the following and all of that. I was just having fun. It was no really driven thing. I'm just having fun. And she said, you should introduce a product and sell. But I was like, what am I going to sell around history and culture? Right? Like, it don't make no sense. In 2010, 11, I started thinking about, well, I could put together some flashcards, but who's going to buy that? Right? So it wasn't until 2016 that I was like, all right, I'm about to entertain these flashcards, right? Because I couldn't come up with anything. I had no idea of what to do. So I'm like, I'm gonna put together these flashcards. And I had a following, I had an audience, I had a community, and I was making money online at the time. Playing the AdSense YouTube game, if y'all AdSense Google AdWords game, right? You understand that, right? That's right? And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna introduce these flashcards. So that was 2016. It took me a year, literally a year. Summer 2016 and summer 2017 is when we started to release them. And we mentioned to our audience, hey, we're putting them together. It's going into print and all of that, and people were interested. And then one day I said, I'm gonna pre-sell them before they ready, right? And I was just like, I'm gonna get this thing because it was like the interest was building. And I was like, oh, let's just see what happens. And it just took off. Like literally, I spent $1,500 to get the first 500 decks made, right? Our Black History flashcards, right?
Okay, yep.
And all that good stuff. $1,500 we put up. And man, before they even were shipped, right? We had sold out of those 500 decks. So I ordered 2,000 more of them. And they sold out before they arrived, right? None of them were here, right? Like I got the 500, we started mailing them out. The 2,000 is gone. I ordered 10,000, and obviously, I don't know if it's obvious, I did not ship them to my house. Right? I had to get a 3PNL, they call them, a partner, and we shipped them there so they could start shipping them out. Those sold out. Ordered more, like sold out, like it just got crazy. 2017, like almost immediately. It became a phenomenon. It's been a beautiful ride. Since then, we sold over 500,000 decks of them all around the world, all 50 states, 200,000 customers, all 50 states, 64 countries around the world we've shipped them to and counting, right? It's just been a crazy ride since then.
Wow. And we're talking about flashcards, but sir.
Flashcards.
But let's talk about, because this is Brownstone's Best Business Review. And y'all, this is a master's class from a gentleman with an MBA in business. And so that you have to take those risks. Was there ever a doubt in your mind that I need to just not do this? Was it ever that thought that you were like, nah, this just ain't gonna work? Did you wake up at night and say, what in the world am I doing?
Well, I would say those 6 years between being told I needed a physical product and 2016 deciding, okay, I'm gonna do the flashcards. I doubt it. I doubt it. Was it important? Was anybody really interested? Is somebody really gonna pick some money up? Because pay some money for this because doing the AdSense game is low risk, right? Because we're just generating content online, driving traffic, and allowing Google to pay us money. Nobody's putting no skin in the game. So I always was wondering, are people really willing to pay me money for history and culture, right? And, you often doubt it. And in today's age with, AI and, the internet and social media, and you got access to information, right? So it's like, why would somebody pay you to do this? So I guess the doubt is always circulating. But what I understand now is just because the information is available doesn't mean somebody's going to put it together. They're not going to collate it, and they're not going to figure out. They're not going to synthesize what's real information, what's fake, and all of that. And expediency is something that people pay for. So the fact that we have built a reputable reputation on honesty and trust and realness and powerful information, people trust us. So they know that we got the know, like, and trust factor. So they know that we put the work in, did the research, and somebody just, listen, I just want the information. I don't want to go do it. I don't want to ask ChatGPT. I don't want to figure out, is this person telling me the truth? I trust you. I like you. Here's $20, $30. Send me some flashcards.
Send me what you got.
You send me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And so now that you've got the cards, you started with what other, because you have other products, and I'm not going to tell it. I need you to tell everybody else what you got going on, what you doing. Because now you took and it takes somebody with that vision to say, okay, I'm going to start with this. But then other things started to happen. Did it not?
Yeah.
What happened?
Woo! It's a lot has happened, right? One, because you remind me as a business community. Let me give you the business lesson. We launched with one product, right? All I had was volume 1 of the flashcards. So first lesson is get your stuff together so that you at least are ready to have additional products. This is all I had. Yes. And literally, I'm telling you, we did millions of dollars in sales on one product. Wow. Now, while that's great, imagine if we had 2 products, right? Like, just imagine if there was actually a volume 2 to this, or 3, 4, 5, and 6 to sell these people that are buying this at a rapid pace, right? Mm-hmm. So that's like the first problem. And then like our speed was atrocious, right? 2017, we created the deck. It wasn't until mid to late 2018 that volume 2 came out. Like, so like I look back and I'm thinking, what was I even doing or thinking? Mm-hmm. So anyway, we could do a whole show on mistakes, right?
Maybe we should.
Yeah. I mean, it would be interesting because everybody talks about the polished product, but there's a process and a lot of mistakes and errors going to that. Absolutely. So I'm about to lay out everything that we do, but we didn't start here. I can't even lie and say like, I was like, oh, we're going to do all of these wonderful things in the future. So the opportunities kind of evolve over time as you take action, though. You got to take that step. The door don't open until you start taking steps towards it, right? And then these doors will open. Anyway, so since we're teaching, here's a branding lesson, right? We are starting to consolidate what we do around the concept of Sankofa, right? So Sankofa is a word out of the Twi language in Ghana from the Akan people. That means to go back and get it. So go back and get your history, go back and get your culture, go back and get it and bring it forward with you into the future, right? So Sankofa, right? So we're going to own that word. I want you to understand. It's an old word, it's a popular word, but we're going to own it, right? I'm going to spend the money, the marketing dollars to own this word in your mind. Don't worry about it. We're going
okay, yes, sir. I believe you.
So go back and get it. So we're using that around the different segments around our business. So our product segment, which is flashcards obviously land into, are our Sankofa tools. So Sankofa tools, I own the .com. Everything I mentioned, I own the .com to these things.
Yeah.
But Sankofa tools, we actually have 19 physical products centered around Black history and culture. We got games, we got 7 different flashcard series. Inside of this, we have Black history playing cards. We got Black history ABC flashcards for the children. We got memory games. We got playing cards. We got the Black history Steam bingo. We got everything Black history inside of the Sankofa tools. Right?
Yeah.
So that's great. Then we have a membership element to our business. One is the Sankofa Club. Currently, it's going to be, if you go to Sankofa Club, you can see that, but it's going to turn into the Sankofa Nation. This is where we teach Black history to children.
Yes.
So we teach live Black history classes to children twice a week with our World Changers. That's what we call our teachers inside of that. But there's over 400 classes that are archived that people can get once they join the Sankofa Club. Then and that's a recurring revenue model, right? So we have physical products inside the e-commerce brand. Then our recurring revenue model includes the Sankofa Club, going to be Sankofa Nation. Then we have something called the Sankofa Circle, which is where we teach live Black history classes to adults as well, right? So we're building on that. So those are our recurring revenue models inside of the Sankofa movement. And then we have Sankofa experiences. So now you spent time with us, you bought our products, you joined the Sankofa Circle or the club with the children, and we're learning this Black history. What's left to do to go see it and experience it?
Yes.
So we go on Black history travel experiences through the Sankofa experiences, right? And we travel to Africa and the African diaspora around experiencing the Black history and culture firsthand. That's a lot. There's a lot.
Bravo. Listen, Linda. You are rocking it out. Oh my God. And every component, first of all, when we're talking about business, I love how I'm seeing the progression of the customer experience within each one. And so you start here and then you elevate your way up. And so there's an entire customer life cycle where they're not only becoming a part of your community, but they're also, in some sense of the word, and this is just for me listening, right? two MBAs sitting here talking. You have created a circle of literally never having to go out and find them, because those people are coming out. You, girl, you need to come go with us. Come on, you need to bring the babies on, and so forth and so on. So you created disciples in a sense who are going out and bringing other people into the community at all different levels.
Yeah.
And that is amazing.
Yeah, it's just crazy how things have unfolded. But I'm gonna give you the real secret sauce, right? Since we're talking
now, I'm listening. Let's go.
Yeah. The real secret sauce, particularly for Black businesses, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got to be honest with y'all. What separates us from everybody else is not the tech, it's not the cards, it ain't even the history or the deep research or anything like that. What separates us from everybody else is customer service. I listen. This I got goosebumps because. And I got to give credit to Ian, our COO. He's the one that was emphatic. He's always been emphatic about proper customer service and serving the customer correctly. Absolutely. But you mentioned the word disciple, and this is how you create them, is by treating them right with wonderful customer service. We go over and beyond.
Yes, you do.
With us, right? If you get the flashcards or you make an order and something is missing or whatever, you don't like it, we will refund you your money and you can keep it. Right? I don't say that out loud too much.
It's all right.
Yeah. But I understand that you shipping it back, it kind of creates a problem on our back end. You might as well keep it. But we take care of our people. We go crazy about taking care of our people. And that is what really separates us. So you will see our ads and you'll see somebody say something and you'll see our customers in the comments like, no. I know you lying. I know you lying, right? And it's because we go above and beyond, and then particularly because we're a black business. And hey, man, we've had some raggedy experiences in our people's companies, right? Yeah. So when people encompass us, particularly our online company, right? There are a lot of scams going on. Our people have been damaged, right? So when they have this experience with us, they're like, man, I just love y'all. And when you got customers that just say stuff like that, I just love y'all. You start introducing new things, they're just going. They're just like, yeah, all right, I need this membership. Yep, my grandbaby's got to get in that club. Yep, I'm going to Africa. I always wanted to go. I'm going with you. I trust y'all, right? It is I think it's the missing element in most businesses, not just Black businesses. Most businesses have terrible customer service.
Yeah.
We don't want to spend and pay for that because we don't see the value. But when you're creating disciples, when you're creating lifelong customers, think about somebody spending money with you for a lifetime.
For a lifetime.
For a lifetime?
Yes. Absolutely.
You won't spend a couple of $100 on better customer service experience to get somebody to spend for a lifetime?
Yeah.
It's so short-sighted.
Very much so.
They're dealing with this hustler mentality. Like, I want to make money, I want to be profitable, but I'd rather get customers that will spend money with us for a lifetime.
And that is one of the elements I think in business today that is missing, like what you just said with that hustler mentality, because I see it a lot. I'm gonna put this out here. The digital products arena. Let me find one more PLR course or service that you can go order, and then you put it up, and then it's yours, and then you selling it, and then if it's right or wrong, you don't care because you never did the review. You don't care what it is. You just you just here to hurry up and grab the money and be gone, not looking at, like you said, being so short-sighted. You miss the opportunity to build a long-standing relationship based on know, like, and trust. Therein lies where, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it, where we as Black business owners have to fall back just a minute and say, you know what? I don't want to rush this. Here's something else. Can I go here? Okay. Is it okay? I'm going to go here. Even with Brownstone Worldwide, I have had opportunities to rush. And I like something that you said. Well, when we first started, I started with the one box. And even though looking back, hindsight is 2020, you said, what if we'd had two? But you know what? You were where you were supposed to be so you could get that right. You know what I mean? And that's important. And we miss those elements because we're into this rat race of what's happening on social media. We're paying attention to everybody else. And what we've done here, and it's a difficult thing. This is the first year that I've been on the road. And it's only, like I said, like the first 3 weeks into the year, and this is going to be all year long. But I had to get to this point. And I think where we're missing an opportunity to be in a specific level of excellence is because we're looking for the fast dollar. And we can't have the fast dollar because fast dollars fizzle out and become puffs of smoke overnight. And what you're talking about building and what you've built now, and it's continuing to grow, because I see you, brother, is something that has roots. And that's so important. And I appreciate you sharing this story, even for me as a business owner, because there are those moments like everybody else where we think that we should be farther along than we currently are, right? And we don't realize that even in the midst, in the muck, in the mire of the building, you're learning something, you're growing, and it's becoming better. And you can always look back and say, look what we learned, look what we did. And it's good. It's really, I'm seeing, I witness it. I see you. And see, that's another thing, is the level of service and the excellence of your website, of the classes that you offer, of your Zooms that you offer in your group and stuff like that. See, you don't think I see you. We see you. Is always excellent. It's always good. And I need you to hear me on that you are teaching even in the steps of you just handling your business. And you need to be honored for that and respected for that, honestly.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying.
Yes, we see you. So here's another question for you while we're talking about Mr. Ian and all. You're not working alone. So can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Where is this notion that you can do all the things by yourself? And what advice would you give someone who believes that they can become a 7-figure earner, 6-figure earner, and beyond by doing it by themselves? And what did it take for you? Let's go here.
Yeah.
To say, I need to humble myself and know I don't know how to do that, but I know I need it. What steps did you take?
Woo! Lord, this is gonna be a 2-hour interview, man. This is like, these are great questions, and I'm realizing that I've never really talked about these things. One, I can say that I immediately Jay-Z popped in my head because like I was listening to it while I was showering today, but he's like, I got a hustler spirit. Period, right? Anyway, like, but that's that spirit that we have in our community, that hustler spirit, right? And then ain't nobody ever gave me nothing. I don't need nothing. I need to do this on my own. Like Brian, I will show y'all that. Like that mentality runs deep in the Black community. I think it's a wonderful thing. And I've been there. I've been the solopreneur, doing that hustle. I've been in all of these shoes, trying to get to $20,000 a year, right? Trying to get to $100,000 a year, right? And I was able to crack it individually by myself, but it wasn't until I brought the team on that we jumped into the 7 and trying to go to these 8 figures, right?
Come on now, come on.
But I think just understanding, one, like you said, that you don't know everything, but understanding that what's the there's an African quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Come on.
Right? And that's what we need. You need to go together. And you need to empower other people around you so that they can bring their expertise, their energy, their excitement, their thoughts, their ideas, and their efforts to the mission and to grow beyond it. So a good book, if somebody's really interested to learn how to crack through this and to understand that you don't really have to know everything. Right. You can actually hire talent that knows it. And it counts because you did it. You still did it. You want to take all the credit. You still did it. But there's a great book called Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. And I think a lot of the angst around the community can evaporate once you realize that you don't need to know how to do something. You need to know who knows how to do it, and then bring them onto the team, contract with them, hire them as an agency, whatever the thing is, but get it done. So that you can free your time up, because I promise you this. If you crack 7 figures, you crack 8 figures, 10 figures, whatever the number is that's in your mind, you don't have the capacity to do all the things that are necessary. Listen, I feel like, how do people have the capacity to operate as the CEO in the company?
Yeah.
Not not the marketer, not the operator,
right?
Not the customer service, not all of these other things. I'm talking about just CEO responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? How do you even do that? I'm still trying to develop into just that space. Right. So when I look back on my progression and think that not only was I doing that, I was wearing all these other hats. Listen, this is why your growth is impeded.
Yeah.
Because you're not trusting other people. You're not hiring other people. And here's the thing. Well, what if they come in? They steal my ideas and all of this stuff.
Come on now.
All the ideas that you got is already floating in the ether. I don't know where you at. It's already out there.
Yeah.
The brain is is grabbing signals from the ether. It's out there.
Yeah.
Right. And if I can get on ChatGPT, I can put your company in and get your whole blueprint if I want to. It's out there. And knowing the information ain't the sauce. That ain't it anyway. Don't be afraid of that. But somebody can come in. You come into my company, we're going to train you. I'm going to show you what we're doing. You might leave. You might go and try to emulate us, but you're not me. You ain't us. You know what I mean? So you're still the secret sauce. So don't be afraid of that. But you're going to need other people. There's just too much going on in a company to be trying to do it all yourself. But the credit still lies with you. You're still the one pulling it together. You're paying the checks. You're cutting them checks. Let me tell you. But it's definitely worth it. If you're trying to seriously have the impact on your audience, you're just trying to make some money. Like I said, glitches go away, fads go away. You can try to ride the train as long as you can. But if you're genuinely trying to help your audience, you're going to need other people to get involved with this. And if you're genuinely serving your audience, I promise you, they will give you money.
There you go. And let's talk about that word, serve. And so I think, let me ask you this. So when we're talking about the cards, we're talking about the different levels of Sankofa. You're talking about the different trips that you all are taking. Listen, I watch everything. I'm dusting off passports, trying to figure out when I'm going to join the next, because y'all out here living your best life. Let's talk about it, right? But on top of that, you are opening up the eyes of so many people. And in all of that, let's talk about this ministry, serving, all of the things that you're doing. You're serving a community of hungry descendants of slaves who were brought here against their will, who were already community leaders and doctors and legal professionals and mothers and fathers and kings and queens and cooks and all the things that we came to this country and we built it. And what I love about what you do in your serving is you are opening up the doors for people to experience wholeheartedly, from just a basic flashcard to packing their bags and putting their feet in the motherland.
Crazy. And
learning that they are great descendants of amazing kingsmen and kinfolk of all kinds. When you are talking about serving on that level, did you ever think that that's what you were doing while you were creating that?
Honestly, no. I just thought we was putting together some little Black history and culture, right? Like this is just what we doing. But now I'm in it. And now this year I'm trying to stand in it. Like I'm trying to own it. Right. Like I've been shy about it. I've been humble, and I've been quiet. And listen, don't get me wrong. I believe humility has its place, but we ain't got time for that right now. Right? Our people are hurting. Our market is our community is damaged. Our community, we went from the king's dream to the king's nightmare. This is where we are as people. And like, I ain't got time to be humble right now, right? So not only does the community need us, they want us. They've been looking, and I'm trying to stand in. I ain't trying. I'm standing in that. I'm owning that in 2025, and we're going to deliver at a higher level. So even though I didn't see us getting here at this point when I started back in 2016, 2017, kicking off with the flashcards, I'm in it now, and I'm realizing the people that I got on my wall back here behind me, I'm realizing we got an opportunity to have an impact on people's lives like that. And what I believe, right? I always you get me fired up here now.
It's all right. Come on.
Yeah. What I believe is we have the power to change the world, right? And often inside of the company, this is what we talk about. Hey, we're delusional enough to believe that we can change the world with Black history and culture. And anybody that has a contrary view of that, don't talk to me, because don't bring no reason to us. We don't need that right now. We need to be unreasonable, because we need this in our community. And I believe that this is what's missing. Our community, Black people are phenomenal.
Yes.
African people are unbelievable. They're loving, they're kind, we're spirited. We got this glow about us. It's beautiful. What's missing is a thorough understanding of who we are. And when we get this, we get this piece, I believe it's like Voltron, right? We're gonna like Voltron. We're gonna come together and do some great things. But this is the missing piece. This is the reason why we don't respect one another in our community, because you don't understand the history and the culture that we come from. So you look at them as N-words, like look at that, you know what I mean? And that's how other people view us, because they don't know our history and our culture. We've all been lied about who we are. And I love that you talked about the kings and queens, and you talked about the mothers and the fathers on the other side of the chasm of slavery, right? I just came back from the Blacksonian right there in DC a couple of weeks ago. And I got an issue with it. Right? Yeah, everybody, it's beautiful, it's big, hundreds of millions of dollars, but it's a big piece of propaganda. And the issue I have with it starts in that basement, right? So if you've been, you go to the basement and you start back in the 1400s, right? And they tell me, Freddie, it's an African American museum. You know, why would they talk about Africa? Why would they talk about pre-slavery history? That's not African American history. I say, well, what part of Africa did they go get African Americans from? Where the hell did they go get African Americans? And this is it ain't just this museum. It's Black History Month, which is coming up. It's a complete narrative that we're descendants of slaves. Turns out we have a long and storied history of thousands of years pre-slavery, pre-colonialism that is totally ignored. And inside of that Blacksonian, that big, beautiful, almost $1 billion that they spent piece of propaganda, it starts in slavery. And it starts in the 1400s in Africa. It starts with the Portuguese slave trade that's kicked off around 1455. It starts right there. Well, guess what is happening in Africa in the 1400s? There's beautiful history and culture that's going on over there that's not mentioned anywhere in this big, beautiful piece of propaganda. You didn't have one space, one area, one segment that you could devote to talk about not only the kings and queens and stuff like that, but how about the scientists? How about the engineers? How about the mathematicians?
Yes.
You know, how about the agriculturalists? How about the intelligentsia? How about the community, the language? Because nobody went and got African Americans. They went and got the Mende. They went and got the Fulani. They went and got the Hindu. They went and got the Wolof. There's a people with a history and culture out there that is easy to talk. That's why I love it that I'm wearing Sierra Leone. I'm Mende out of Sierra Leone. I know who we are, but I think this is the missing piece of us in our community. Because once you get this, you can't walk around the same no more. You're instantly changed. I know I'm Mende. I stood on the island. Bunce Island in Sierra Leone is the home of the door no return, the slave trade, and all of that. And I learned there that the Mende specifically was excellent rice farmers. This is what they understood, the science of growing things out of the ground, using the sun and the elements to create food, clothing, and stuff. From Bunce Island was shipped directly into Charleston, South Carolina. South Carolina, the rice coast. It made them rich. Rice made them rich. And they got the understanding and the intuitiveness from the Mende specifically. They went and hunted these people and brought them to Charleston and got rich on their backs. And none of that conversation is used in this Blacksonian, nor the educational system. It drives me crazy to know this information that my people don't. But when you get this, it changes you forever.
It changes your life.
It changes your life. I got fired up. This is,
No. By all means, that's what we're here for. That's what we need. And in this season, when you're talking about serving, I need you to hear me, because this is what I see from you at this very moment. And we're talking about the people that are behind you. Let's talk about that. The people that are behind you on that wall, they literally are behind you. And it's almost as if they recognize that you are where you are right now, number one, because of them. But you are here in this time, space, reality because you are necessary. And so because of that, you have been provided the tools needed and necessary to carry out what they are behind you, pushing you forward in spirit to do. Right? And so what I love about this is the fact that you were chosen because you are passionate. I definitely see that. You were chosen because you went and you got the education necessary to make it happen. And you have the vision, and to understand that even though they are on the wall, they are really, really behind you, Freddie. Every time you make a step, every time you walk, they are feeding you everything that you need to move to the next level so that you can continue to serve those descendants, so that we can go back and put our feet in that final bath and walk through the door of no return to the motherland. And it is so important for us to have these conversations, and not so much so that we can make people angry online, because you're good for that, but
we all got our special gifts and talents, right?
But you're good for it. You're good, and you make us think, and you provide something for us to consider. But what I love about your passion and me hearing you talk is that this is truly your gift. And that is a beautiful thing, because what I have learned in everything dealing with business is this: do what you love and everything else will take care of itself. This is who you were born to be. And this is literally just the root. The rest of the tree has not grown. And I know you got some things that you ain't even talking about, because you're building and you're connecting the dots. And so let's talk about something that you did say, and I apologize. If you had not talked about this, we'd already be done with this interview. Right?
Don't worry about it.
You talked about connections, and I'm not just talking about the people that you're cutting a check to, but let's talk about relationships. And especially in the Black community. So one of the things that Brownstone Worldwide really is about the people in the neighborhood. A lot of people are not aware of that, but one of the things that we pride ourselves on is allowing the people in the neighborhood, our podcasters, the writers of the magazine, those people who help with the branding, we call them neighbors. You're helping to build a community within what you are doing, just like we're doing over here. How does, and this is a hypothetical, but how does a Brownstone Worldwide and an Urban Intellectuals, both Black-owned companies, descendants of slaves in this country, combine together to work towards serving the people?
That's a good question. I would start with anything's possible, right? So anything we decide that we want to do together, because we own the companies, we literally can do that. But I know that there has to be a lot of overlap with our audiences as well, right? Because we serve the community, you're doing the same thing, right? So we definitely got some overlap, and we can definitely share exposure for one another inside of our audiences. But I wonder, like, what could we do that's huge, that could really have real impact, right? So I'm thinking about that. I don't that answer hasn't popped into my head just yet. But I'm pretty certain that there's some sort of opportunity there that we just probably not seeing at this moment. Right.
Let me also put this out here. That wasn't the real reason why I asked that question. The real reason why I asked that question is, what would be the why in doing something like that?
Oh, the why is easy, right? Because we want to positively impact the community. right? Where I will use our grand words like we want to change the world, right? But when you change individuals, you change people, you change the world, right? And you don't know who you're sparking, right? Like I know, I think Pac talked about like I might not spark the revolution, but I might spark the mind that does, right? So that is very important, and I think it's there's some humility there because I think we recognize that we don't have to be the person. We don't have to be Patrice Lumumba or be Marcus Garvey, right? We don't have to be that person, but if we can influence that person or bring them to their reality or their greatness, I think like both of us would smile at that opportunity, right? Even if we 1 or 2 or 3 people remove from that opportunity, it'd be great to be part of it.
I love this. I love this. And you got me over here fired up because I'm like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. Whenever I have these interviews, you all have truly, each one of you feeds this curiosity in me of why people are in business. And each one of you so far has always ended up saying the same thing in different ways. You are here to serve the people. And because you're serving the people, you have to have the resources to do that. And every single day when you're getting up and you're going through the motions, it's not about so much. And I see this even with the things that I see that you're doing in social media. It's not about the fact that you get to wake up when you want to wake up. It's not about that. It's not about the fact that, you know, I'm the boss and I get to wear the t-shirt that says that I'm the boss. You are really focused on creating the new narrative of who we know we are inherently, but we just don't want to, we don't know how to walk in that. And I think I'm going to end with this and ask this question before we wrap. Number one, we both know, and we're watching it play out right now on social media. There is a social media war going on, and we see it. And what I will say is also something that I've learned from the Casey Brown. I always say her name like that. Casey Brown said, attention is the new oil. How will you use the platforms that are not yours? And this is a lesson that I want to make sure that our business owners get. How will you use the platforms that are not ours, that's social media, to drive them, number one, to where you are so that they become a part of your Sankofa circle and remain there?
Woo! Okay, I'll try to be succinct with this. What the attention is definitely the new oil. Like you got to grab the attention. So we're definitely going to use those platforms to generate attention. And, you know, I do it in a agitative way with my questions and my conversations. But specifically in 2025, we're focusing on long form content. So these types of conversations, I want to lecture. I want to go in. I want to create 40, 50, 2-hour pieces that we can put in front of our audience and really drive and dig with them. So I'm less enamored with the numbers, right? Like, oh, you know, this viewership and how many clicks and like all of this stuff. And I want people to go deep with me. I really want to infect you. I want to infect these people. I want to indoctrinate them. I want them to have these conversations with us and to feel like, oh, I actually know Freddie. Like I get it when I walk through the airport and I see people kind of looking at me, they tilt their head. And I know you've seen something. Like, and then we end up talking like, oh, the flashcards. But I want it to be like, oh man, I seen your lecture on the back. Oh my God. Like whatever. Like, but I want to go deeper. I'm not in the short form content as much anymore. But we obviously the long form content, we're gonna clip and create and use the shorter form and put it out there so that we can lean on these platforms to bring people into the family, into the community. Serve them well with excellent products and services and excellent customer service so that we can indoctrinate you and make you part of the family and then shift you over to our social network, right? So we actually have one called
Look.
We have Sankofa Universe, of course. It's got to be Sankofa to bring them over to have the additional conversation. Of course, now you're in our email system, our web, and all of that stuff. But I need to use these platforms for what they are: attention grabbing. That's where the eyeballs are. Pull them over into what we're doing. Again, if you don't, attention and getting people over to your platform is only part of the equation. If you don't actually serve them with quality products and services, you're going to lose them. And then if you don't follow up with excellent customer service, you're going to lose them. So you can't even indoctrinate them to move them on and keep them purchasing and buying for a lifetime, right? Because business ain't about the sale, it's about the customer lifetime value. If you can understand what I just said there, and you can figure out how to bring a customer in at a profit or a loss, it doesn't really matter either way. If you understand what I said with customer lifetime value, you indoctrinate them properly, and they become lifetime buyers. Not only lifetime buyers, but lifetime referrers.
There you go.
Company. This is how you go from 6 to 7, from 7 to 8 figures and beyond. You're going to need that. People got to be able to pass you along. And if you got terrible customer service, you got marginal products and services, you might make some money for a while, but you're going to fade off. And we don't want to do that. We want to build a movement like the people that are behind me pushing because our community needs it.
That part. Ooh, that was so good. Y'all, Freddie Taylor is in the building with us today. Shout out to Urban Intellectuals, Freddie Taylor. Once again, listen, I've got one final question for you that I ask every business owner that comes and sits in this chair. What's the good, the bad, and the ugly of being in business?
Wow. The good is definitely the opportunities that you have to positively impact people inside and outside of your company, right? I definitely think you have an obligation to serving not only your customers, but serving your employees, the people that work for you. So I think that's the good. You have that opportunity. If you're a good spirited person, you're a kind person, and you want to see people grow and develop, I think like that there's ample opportunity to make your heart smile in a lot of different ways. I definitely think that's the good, right? The money is cool. It's nice. And listen, I want a lot more of it. Right. Don't get me wrong. I'm into philanthropy, but this is a for-profit organization.
For-profit, right.
So the good, the bad is the responsibility, right, that you have to these people. Right now, you got employees, you got to serve them. They need checks. So I think that the stress can kind of really get to you at times. I think you gotta watch your stress levels because especially if you actually care, right? Now, if you don't care, I don't think that this might not be a bad thing for you. Right. But it's stressful. We had a hard year in business last year, right? We had to lay people off. We had to cut people to part-time. Like, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. And I realized we didn't do it soon enough. We should have probably did it 12 to 18 months sooner.
Wow.
I didn't want to, right? And maybe that's ego, but I care about our people, right? Like,
care about the
it's hard. I'd rather go without money than them.
Yeah.
Right. So, because I know we're gonna make it back, right? Like, I can fire everybody and just start
but I
don't want to do that. And then the ugly, man, I guess the ugly is like the 3x of the bad, right? But I mean, the ugly for me, I guess the ugly is like dealing with the finances and like really like watching the money,
right?
And having to make those ruthless decisions that you need, because like if I would have let the business go out of business, everybody's fired, including myself, right? So I think the ugly is more of the bad, and everybody wants to grow a business until you grew a business, and then you're like, man, I'm in meetings all day. Meetings, that's the ugly. I'm in meetings all day, and responsibilities, and like you start to not own your time no more, which is another reason that we got into business. I want time freedom. I don't want to be on with anybody else's clock. And then as you grow this company, you're like, I want to be at 6 figures. I want to be at 7 figures. I want to be at 8 figures. And then all of a sudden, you've created a job, right? Like, it's, oh my God, this is a job. What happened, right? What happened? So I definitely think that's, for me, that's the ugly. I am a free mind, free spirit. I like to be out here floating and just doing my thing. But what I learned is I got to become a better leader. I got to get better systems and processes in place so that the operation can run correctly, and I can still be the free spirit and really the energy and the driver and the rainmaker that I am for the company, instead of being in the damn meetings all day.
And you're gonna get there. This is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I love this. Oh, man, we can sit here all day. And I know you got stuff to do, and I got stuff to do. I'm at this amazing conference, and I just spoke, but I just had to make sure that I did not miss this with you because I knew you were going to bring the fire like you always do. And so with that, let me go ahead and share some of your information with the people. Listen, all things urbanintellectuals.com. You can find Freddie Taylor on social media at Urban Intellectuals. You can find him at urbanintellectuals.com. He said it. I didn't. All social media. I'm going to put it up here so you can see it for yourself because he didn't. He was serious. All social media, Urban Intellectuals. There's no at FT Taylor. None of that. It is Urban Intellectuals. You want the fire, you want this information, you want to be a part of this movement and the Sankofa movement, you definitely need to head on over to urbanintellectuals.com, get into some of those Zooms, educate yourself and your family on a lot of the things that he talked about today, just briefly in this hour. Now, before we leave, do you have any final words for our people in the neighborhood?
I would say in closing to the people, I dare you to live up to your expectations. I dare you to live up to your greatness. You were not created to be another person on the planet. You were created to stand out and be excellent and to shepherd the people that know, like, and trust you into their greatness. So I dare you to stand in it. I dare you to emulate the people behind me. I dare you. I dare you to be great.
I ain't got nothing else to say. How do you come behind that? Ladies and gentlemen, Freddie Taylor of Urban Intellectuals. Mr. Taylor, if you can just stick around for a little bit, we're going to wrap up here, and then you and I are just going to have a short conversation so I can head back to this conference and you can continue to keep making history. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to head up out of here. Take care of yourself and each other. We'll see you around.